Friends, amongst us today we have four young thinkers. All four of you give me the hope that you will make my country, India, a better place to be. You chose challenging topics, relentlessly researched, and now convinced an erudite jury that your belief is true and honest. You have won over many hundreds of theses to receive these top thesis awards in architecture and social concerns this year. Let me first congratulate all of you, and especially the four, and also the other participating students in the audience. I am here to institute, on behalf of Professor Christopher Benninger, 4 gold medals. But I must tell you the story why I specifically chose the thesis, national level thesis, to institute this award on Professor Christopher Benninger, whom we lost about 3 months back. Friends, especially students, you must listen to this very carefully, especially those who have won the awards. Like you, Christopher Benninger was a young student in 1966 at Harvard's Graduate School of Design. He chose a thesis topic on housing the urban poor, and his thesis was on the urban poor, housing the urban poor in Medellin, Colombia, in South America. Christopher was very concerned about the social aspects of architecture, and he was drawn to Medellin, Colombia, because his father was teaching in those days. He was a professor of economics, and he was teaching in those days a semester in Medellin. And he used to wander the favelas, or the slums of this third world country. And he came and discussed with Barbara Ward, who was his mentor at Harvard University. Barbara Ward was known for a book called India and the West, and in fact she was the one who has introduced Christopher to India, let's call Asia East, Asia of the East. Inspired by her, he thought that he wants to come and visit India, and he applied for a Fulbright scholarship. He got it, and he wanted to implement his thesis, and that's what brought, actually, in 1968, him to Ahmedabad. Back in those days, in 1968, when he was a Fulbright scholar, he met a gentleman by the name Sanath, who was a Congress leader back in those days in Gujarat. And he proposed that I would like to use some city in Gujarat to experiment my thesis, how to house the urban poor, especially the economic weaker sections. Well, anyway, that was the situation, and then he left after his 6 months of a Fulbright's fellowship in Ahmedabad, back to Harvard, and at that time he was teaching and he was doing his PhD in MIT in planning. He came back to Ahmedabad in 1971 to start the School of Planning. He started it. And that was a period of time in the subcontinent, if you remember, there was the Bangladesh war was going on in 1971. The separation of East Pakistan and the creation of Bangladesh. After the war was over, the Congress government announced elections, won with thumping majority, and guess what? Sanath Mehta became the Minister for Labour and Housing. Christopher came back from Harvard in 1971, and in 1972, he applied this thesis, which he kind of narrated to Sanath Mehta. And Sanath Mehta, in his position as a Minister for Housing and Labour, allowed Christopher to implement this in Jamnagar, and Jamnagar got its first EWS housing called the Economic Weaker Section Housing. 2,000 houses were built. That was the importance of a very good thesis. And also, now having narrated this story, young students, especially those who believe that their thesis is something which is genuinely good, you must take your thesis and put it into practice. Go and meet people, meet interesting people, meet people who could apply your thesis. And this thesis eventually also led to something which is called the Sites and Services project in Alumbakam in Madras back in those days, and also the formation of Yusuf Villa housing in Hyderabad. So why I'm saying this story is to kind of implant in you the importance of a great thesis and how a thesis can transform or change the way we look at issues. From that point onwards, Christopher was anchored to India and he never left. He was here for 55 years and contributed greatly to the social cause of architecture, apart from architecture, that he was doing in the name of art. So friends, I want you to take this inspiration, because inspiration is very important. And in lieu of that inspiration, I am instituting today 4 gold medals that would be given to 4 students. The 4 students are, in architecture projects, Ayush Pathrabe, Sanath Kumar Shivuni, and the other 2 students for social concern are Maria Joy and Krishna Khurusane. May I have all the 4 students over here on the stage, please? So these gold medals are an inspiration, and I assume that you will take this and be the top bearers in creating a legacy that you should not just follow, which Christopher has said, but also create as an example for the rest of us. Would we do that? Good. Friends and students, let us understand one thing very, very clearly. Our talents are not selfish. Our talents are known to us to do greater good to the society. So all 4 of you are very talented, and I assume that you are going to venture on doing something better, so that we as a generation would be proud of you as the next generation. Once again, congratulations on winning the first ever Christopher Benninger Award for Excellence in Architectural Thesis. And I, Ram, on behalf of my company, CCBA, and Christopher Benninger, who is not with us, would like to honor you with this award, and I humbly thank Jayashree in particular and Professor Purohit in particular to allow me to institute this on behalf of Arts of Architecture at this very ceremony. Thank you very much.
Of Sir Christopher Benninger, and I think it's going to inspire many more students to come.
Just like what Ayush said, it was a very big surprise. Like after the event, when they're receiving this award along with the cash prize of 50,000, it's a great opportunity for me.
to be honored with first ever gold medal award with Sir's name. I am very excited.
And with this award, I would like to go further as Sir gone with his thesis and making it a real world projects. I would like to take my thesis also in the same way. And thanks for the medal.